It's very unlikely. The Sudanese Armed Forces doesn't want a deal. It has made this very clear. When they have gained territory, they have refused a deal in order to make use of the momentum. When they have lost territory, they have pushed back against a deal in order, as they say, to be able to recoup that territory later on. And what we have seen is that Burhan, the head of the Sudanese Armed Forces, came out I believe yesterday, to say that any deal, any truce that would effectively leave the RSF where they are, i.e. fully intact and in control of the territories that they currently hold, would not be something that they would be willing to agree to. For the army, they were hoping that this would be their route into Darfur, into the 5 states of Darfur, and hoping to recoup some territory there. And for the RSF, of course, moving eastwards, it's effectively a gateway for them also to move more closely to the central region, which houses the capital. And ever since losing the capital to the Sudanese Armed Forces earlier this year in March, they have vowed to get back there and move further eastwards to the Red Sea. So in other words, the RSF now is hoping to make use of the momentum that they have since taking El Fashir, and specifically around this very key area in West Kordofan, because it also opens up very lucrative revenue streams. For example, the area of Hijlij, which is very close to Bابnoussa, that is where Sudan's main oil pipeline is, but it's also a large dairy hub. Other parts of Kordofan, like Ubaid, is historically a large mercantile center. And these places will allow the RSF, once they take them, as they plan to do, to be able to extract revenue from those areas and keep the war effort going. They don't really have a well-articulated governance strategy. Earlier this year in February, they, alongside other armed groups, came together to form sort of a coalition or an alliance called Ta'sis. And later on in the year, around August, they also set up a government in Niala, a parallel government to the one in Port Sudan. Now, these are all sort of headlines, as it were, but none of them really constitute the act of governance. There is no well-articulated plan for how to provide services, infrastructure, rule of law, and any kind of sort of guarantees for people to live in those areas as citizens rather than as subjects. And that is going to be a huge problem for them, even as they continue to gain more territories and therefore more people under their control.